it's exhausting to be doing work and watching nothing respond. You don't get any feedback. You don't feel like there's any traction. There's no signs that you're moving in the right direction. Maybe you've been here before. So that's what the last probably about 45 days have looked like for me. And I'm not talking about 45 days with breaks in between. I'm talking about a straight 45 days. Probably at least mid-December or so. And now we're the 10th, I think, of February. So yeah, maybe a little bit over 45 days. And I want to talk about what it takes to stay when the evidence hasn't arrived yet. I mean, I had to look this up because I have to come to terms with this. So for the past 45 days, I've been pouring all day energy into work that has produced no visible response. Ta-da! You know what that means. This work that I'm doing for, it's really worked for to grow and push myself, if I'm being honest. It's, and hopefully, it'd be nice if somebody else can see and do that for themselves too. But okay, so here, let's get through this. For the past 45 days, I've been pouring tireless energy day in and day out into creating videos. No traction, no feedback, no signaling that's saying, this is landing with ladies. To be honest, just effort, repetition. I'm showing up and I won't pretend that this has felt inspired. Some days stopping feels like the smart thing to do. It feels like the logical things to do. It almost feels like, well, I wouldn't say responsible thing to do because this is the right work. And people's lives will get changed because of it. I'm confident about that. Because I'll tell you though, when progress doesn't show up, the mind asks very reasonable questions. It's like, it's sort of like, what's the point? Why am I still doing this? That definitely shows up a lot. Like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this as much. Am I missing cues? And it's kind of like delayed gratification stops being a concept and becomes a lived experience. It's what I'm doing all day, every day, not, as a working 5 days. When I used to work, you work 5 days, you get a few days off. If you get it right, you get a holiday, you get something else, and you get these little nuance, these little breaks in there, and it helps you kind of refresh yourself. But 45 days, day in and day out, and for long days, they're intense days, just kind of thinking about how I want to present something and, all the things. So anyway, so I'm saying this is where delayed gratification, it becomes a real lived experience. And today I want to talk through this, not as a motivation, but as an orientation, where this sits in my nervous system and it becomes I feel a sense of grounding around it and a new sense of direction around it. Delayed gratification is belief without proof. This is the part that no one prepares you for. Delayed gratification, it isn't discipline. It's continuation without confirmation. There's no feedback loop, no reassurance, no external yes, because these videos you do in a vacuum. And in midlife, it feels a little bit harder. And I don't mean because, woe is me, I'm in midlife, yeah, I'm retired and all that kind of stuff. And that's excellent and it makes me have the time. But I'm still a human. I still like reassurances. Yet my body is not the same that can tolerate all the things. Maybe I can hear the wind and the wind chimes, but hopefully my sound is still coming through. Let me keep going. By midlife, effort usually equals outcome. You've worked a long time and all of those years of the work that you've done, it culminates in, successes. You have visible successes. You have them either in your investments or because you've been doing them for so long. And I guess this is probably obvious, making the right types of investments. I got a comment, but maybe I'll say it. It's not like you're day trading or something like that, but instead you are making investments that will benefit you long term. They're methodical, they're purposeful. You're like working out. Maybe you've been working out for years, or you have chose to eat well for years, or you're investing if you're in America, you're investing in the stock market. And, we know that the stock market trends upward. So you're making intelligent investments and it's paying off. But this is like effort, and that effort usually equals some kind of outcome. So we're trained for efficiency, so when nothing happens, it doesn't just feel slow, it feels like something is off. Like something in what you're doing is not right, or like something about you might not be right, may not be accessible, or not even accessible, but maybe seen by others, and presumably when you're in a space like YouTube, there are billions of people who might have access to your videos, and the algorithm, it's algorithming, and it's got enough intellect to be able to find them, yet it's not finding them. So yeah, it makes things a little bit harder. Midlife makes uncertainty harder, not easier. And people assume we get more patient with age. I'm skipping around too much. Let me go back and finish this point up from number one. So you feel like you're like maybe it's you that's broken, but belief without proof is the muscle being trained. That's the muscle that we want to that I'm working for us to train here in this space. I'll put my hands down. Belief without proof is the muscle that we want to train. So I'm on to number two. Midlife makes uncertainty harder, not easier. People assume that we get more patient with age. In some ways we do, but uncertainty in midlife carries weight. We've already spent decades producing, stabilizing, being reliable. So being asked to stay in effort without return can feel offensive. Like, haven't I earned momentum by now? You know, I have all of this wisdom and all of this experience and all of that. Haven't I earned momentum by now? And so I'd say this is probably where many people quit. Not loudly, so they don't announce it, they just stop. And you can chop it up to being realistic. They may say that they're conserving energy, but often what's actually happening is that uncertainty has just become intolerable. All right, number 3, the urge to quit isn't failure. It's actually, if you look at it like it's information, and that really matters. The desire to stop doesn't mean that you're weak. That desire to stop doesn't mean that you're weak. It means you're at the edge of your tolerance for not knowing. Failure gives you a story. Uncertainty gives you nothing but silence. And silence can feel destabilizing. But this moment right here is building something, whether you stay or not. Number 4, consistency without results builds strength that you cannot see yet. So here's what surprised me. And I know quitting is easiest at the beginning, right? It barely requires effort. But the longer you stay, the harder it becomes to walk away. It's like, you've done so much. You've done so much. Surely this will pay off. So not because it gets easier, but because you get sturdier. Consistency without visible results builds internal infrastructure. It builds self-trust. It builds endurance. Nervous system capacity. You learn you don't need immediate reassurance to continue. The resistance you feel isn't a sign that you're off track. The resistance that you feel is not a sign that you're off track. It's the muscle actually forming. And number 5, shrinking the win keeps you in the game. So when motivation disappears, you stop chasing outcomes. And so the smaller questions to ask is, did I show up today? Did I do what I said I would do, even if it's not perfect? If the answer is yes to that, then that counts. In midlife, learning to measure progress internally instead of externally is part of our calibration at this point. I actually said that the video is titled, I think, 5 things. But as I'm working through this, as I was preparing this, it occurred to me that there's one more piece that seems to hold all of this together. This is what midlife calibration actually looks like. Midlife isn't just about reinvention. It's about calibrating. It's about deciding which internal signs you trust now. Because the old ones don't work the same in your new body. External validation doesn't land the way it used to. Achievement doesn't regulate the body the same way. Approval doesn't quiet the mind like it used to. So effort without payoff becomes the training ground. Learning to trust timing, learning to let growth be invisible first, learning to stay without proof. This isn't about perfection. It's about persistence in seasons where nothing and no one is clapping for you. And if you're here right now, doing the work quietly, wondering if you're wasting your precious time, no worries. There's nothing wrong with you. You're still in the game. You're in the part most people don't document because it doesn't look impressive. But growth almost always starts here. In the unseen, in the repetition, in the decision to stay. If this feels like a vibe for you, I welcome you here. I call this midlife calibration, recognizing our new bodies, recognizing my new body, and adjusting to it, period. Learning how to trust myself again when results haven't caught up to my effort. You don't need to rush the season. If you're feeling any of this, you don't need to justify anything. Just keep showing up for yourself. Keep doing it quietly. Keep doing it honestly. Keep doing it deeply. Keep doing it authentically to yourself. And the strength will arrive. It will arrive in its own time. All right, my beautiful ladies. I'll see you the very next time. And as always, take care of yourself.